After Homelander started seeing Firecracker as his mother, he became increasingly dissatisfied with Sister Sage's recent performance.
Who's the leak?
We're making inquiries to process. We're eliminating it.
Homelander punched the bug, smashing it to pieces.
I assume you know what that is?
It's a bug?
Specifically William Butcher's bug. They probably heard every single word we said at Tech Nights, and likely killed him.
But Sister Sage believed the boys wouldn't go public, because they wanted to eliminate Newman once and for all, without anyone knowing. After all, Billy wouldn't live much longer. He didn't want to draw national attention before the big plan was launched. Homelander was even more displeased with her patience and began bringing up old grievances. Previously, he killed the host for no reason while searching for the leaker, causing a friend of the host to withdraw a $50 million advertising deal.
You have brains, Sage. But I have wisdom. And what happens if those brains of yours get blown out again, leaving you talking like a gibbering idiot?
Homelander decided to have Firecracker find the leaker, and Sister Sage to arrange the assassin for the US president. Their conversation was overheard by A-Train outside the door, so he followed Sister Sage and took pictures of him giving cash to the assassin. When Newman got the photos and was about to take the team to find the assassin, Billy, who had been missing for a few days, suddenly walked in and said bluntly that Newman's lover Samir was still alive. Ignoring the hallucinations caused by the tumor in his brain, he revealed everything about the virus. Upon learning that this virus would kill all superhumans globally, everyone was in an uproar, but Billy said he had found another way. He got Frenchie out of the police station to help Samir screen the virus. Only Homelander and Newman would be injected with the virus, and others would not be affected.
You f***ing coward.
Had Frenchie and Kimiko follow Samir, while the others set out to find the assassin. Before leaving, Newman handed the team leader position to Billy. He was afraid of a sudden coma like last time, causing the mission to fail. Billy reluctantly accepted after refusing several times, which made Dean smile meaningfully. When Billy and the two others arrived at the assassin's residence, Billy's condition caused him to cough uncontrollably. Dean appeared again, taunting him and claiming that Billy only used people like Starlight, and that the child left by his wife wasn't his anyway. So why care about the fate of superhumans? Billy seemed determined this time. The three of them found no one in the assassin's room but discovered his girlfriend in the closet. The woman said someone had taken her boyfriend and locked her in here, but when Starlight helped her up, the woman suddenly slashed Huey with a knife and escaped. As she ran, she tore off her skin, revealing she was also a mutant. Her ability was to disguise as other people. By the time they chased her to the street, she had disappeared.
Ate those cunts. Gotta end it to Sage, though. Perfect choice for the job.
Meanwhile, Homelander arrived in the room where Webweaver was being held and questioned why someone impersonated him to infiltrate the manor, steal secrets, and kill Tech Knight. Webweaver was so scared that water sprayed out from his back. Seeing this, Homelander felt utterly disgusted and then tore him in half. After failing to find the assassin, the team placed their hopes on Frenchie. He and Samir began researching the virus with rudimentary equipment, and Kimiko was very upset with him for turning himself into the police earlier. Upon learning that Frenchie felt guilty, he also shared his dark past. The two reconciled, planning to leave together after everything was over. On the other side, Ashley, feeling robbed of her job by Sister Sage and Firecracker, started drinking during the day. She even fired her favorite assistant, not wanting her to end up like the host.
You and me. What if we left? I don't mean us. Ew, no.
Deep's octopus girlfriend became increasingly demanding, causing him great distress.
I love you so much. My suckers can smell her on you after your trysts, like the one you're coming from now.
The octopus kept talking about their past vows and believed Sister Sage was using him. Deep finally broke down and smashed the fish tank, the octopus's cries for help growing weaker.
Kevin, I can't breathe.
As she took her last breath,
I love.
Deep's act of killing his girlfriend completely blackened his heart, and he unhesitatingly accepted Homelander's task.
Finally have clarity now.
Good.
I will kill whoever you want me to kill, whenever you want me to kill them. I'll kill every goddamn fish in the ocean if you say so.
Homelander was puzzled by Deep's transformation, while Huey still held a sliver of hope for Newman, wanting to stop what she and Homelander were planning, but Newman seemed resolute. prompting Huey to reveal he had recordings of everything she said at the tech manor. Huey stated that if she still had any humanity left, it wasn't too late to stop. But Newman, after a moment of silence, asked him to leave. Huey realized there was no turning back. When Starlight and Billy returned to headquarters, they saw Deep and Black Noir waiting for them, indicating Homelander no longer intended to let them live. Starlight faced her most hated Deep, while the non-superpowered Billy fought the fake Black Noir. The fake Black Noir was incredibly fast, dodging bullets, but Billy noticed he fell asleep halfway through the fight. Billy took the opportunity to retrieve a special weapon against superhumans but was smashed to the ground by Black Noir, who woke up after only 10 seconds. Meanwhile, Starlight's powers failed her due to her inner resistance, and she was overpowered by Deep. In a moment of crisis, A-Train appeared and knocked Deep away, exposing his undercover identity. The stimulated Black Noir stopped pretending, became a chatterbox, and used his powers to fly into the air, only to be shot down by him with a Gatling gun. Starlight and A-Train teamed up against Deep. She drove her hands into his gills. A-Train greeted them and sped away to avoid another attack from Black Noir. The team retreated. A-Train found Ashley, confessed his exposed identity, and wanted to take her with him, but she was still undecided. A-Train reminded her to remove the chip in her body before leaving, or Vought would quickly find her. Learning of A-Train's betrayal, Homelander began losing control. Sister Sage crossed his path again.
Smartest person in the world. And you didn't know A-Train was the leak?
I knew.
Sister Sage claimed she had already identified the leaker as A-Train and planned to use him to set a trap for the enemies. But Homelander was furious about her concealment and told her to get lost. Before leaving, Sister Sage warned him that keeping Firecracker around wouldn't achieve anything significant.
Good luck without me.
His subordinates either betrayed him or fought for power, giving him constant headaches. Just as the battered comrades returned to Vought, they encountered Sister Sage being thrown out by Homelander. Deep was still in shock.
Wait, but you can't leave. I love you.
Deep was stunned by the words.
She's lobotomizing herself. You too? What do you mean lobotomizing herself?
Realizing he was the real clone. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Dr. Samir extracted the virus from the dead sheep. Frenchie and Kimiko exchanged a look, deciding to conduct a fluorescent angiography test, and if the virus worked, they'd release him. But Samir misinterpreted their exchange. Before he could finish his words, he injected the virus into Kimiko. While Frenchie was treating Kimiko, he escaped. The virus quickly reacted with the compound V in Kimiko's blood. Frenchie had to saw off one of her legs to save her life. Although Samir escaped, if he could extract the virus from the dead sheep, Frenchie could also extract it from Kimiko's severed leg. The virus wasn't potent enough to kill Homelander yet, but it should be able to deal with Newman and stop her from becoming the president. The team reunited, determined to thwart the enemy's plot. While drinking at a bar, Dean appeared again, trying to convince Billy. The TV was broadcasting Ryan's Christmas puppet show. Midway through the show, Ryan stopped and walked up to the camera. He knew Homelander was about to start a war and wanted to persuade his father to stop.
Your family isn't your enemy. Your family is all you've got.
Ryan spoke about spending Christmas with his mother when he was young. Both Homelander and Billy were deeply moved by the scene. Homelander was bewildered, unable to understand why his son betrayed him.
You little beauty. It's why I got faith in the kid. Wanker.
Just as he turned, Billy began coughing violently, blacked out, and fell to the ground, his fate unknown. Returning home, Huey found Starlight had inexplicably put on her old suit and became very proactive. But at night, after Huey fell asleep, Starlight smiled eerily and quietly got out of bed. She opened the safe in the closet, took the recording from the tech manor, and left. The real Starlight woke up in an abandoned factory, next to a bloody woman's skin. Starlight remembered the woman had taken a photo with her at the bar and used hypnotic gas to knock her out. Faced with the thick chains, Starlight used all her strength but couldn't break free. At that moment, the door behind her opened. When Billy woke up from his coma, he was in a hospital. After the doctor left, Dean appeared again, telling him that the U.S. presidential election results would be announced tomorrow, and he was nearing his end. He gave the only weapon that could stop Homelander to him.
We are going to turn that frown upside down, my friend. You know why? Because you still have me.
You ain't even real.
Compound V had caused a real tumor in his organs. Dean spoke of Billy's desire to burn every superhuman on Earth, saying it was also real. He mentioned helping Billy deal with the Rubber Man.
I'm the one that gave you the juice that you needed. and I can do it again. All you have to do is hold up your end of the bargain.
Billy didn't understand, but Dean said that with power, committing some genocide was nothing. CIA's Madeline appeared before Billy, understanding what he wanted and asking for his phone. Meanwhile, the presidential election was in the vote-counting phase, but Frenchie hadn't extracted the virus yet. M was at a loss, urging him to hurry. Huey noticed something strange about Starlight recently. At such a critical moment, she put on a wedding dress and proposed to him.
Huey Campbell, will you marry me?
As a man, how could he refuse? When he went to get the ring he'd prepared for a long time, the fake Starlight's expression changed. After Huey returned and proposed to Starlight with a ring, and she accepted, the two immediately started their honeymoon. They ignored the apocalypse and everything else. After it all ended, Starlight noticed the skin on her finger peeling, hastily put on clothes, and found an excuse to leave. She found the real Starlight and grabbed her by the neck. It turned out her shape-shifting ability had a time limit and required touching Starlight to maintain. Faced with Starlight's pleas, the shapeshifter said her ability wasn't just about copying, she could also read Starlight's memories. She had already proposed to Huey, and that fool's face was full of joy, as if he had gained permanent happiness. She even mentioned the disgraceful things Starlight did with Deep before joining the Seven. The shapeshifter mocked Starlight, saying she wasn't even initially chosen as the scapegoat to kill Singer, but with all her troubles and uselessness, she was the perfect choice. The real purpose was to use Starlight's identity to kill Newman's competitor and let her take the blame.
You'll have a couple of non-consecutive life sentences to work through your identity issues.
I'm the only good one.
Meanwhile, Billy also called Huey, speaking as if leaving his last words. He hoped Huey would take Ryan to a steakhouse in Nevada. He had promised the kid but couldn't fulfill it. On the other side, Homelander was losing more hair, exacerbating his midlife crisis. While packing his son's backpack, he accidentally saw a family photo with Billy, causing Homelander's inner rage to explode.
Come here. Come here. That's an order. I'm your father. Not him. I always will be. Ryan? Ryan!
During the live interview with Newman that night, Homelander remained sullen. When he heard Newman giving her campaign speech, he decided to no longer hide.
Toria here is a superhero.
Newman thought he was joking, but Homelander used his laser eyes, forcing Newman to use her powers. Nearby, Firecracker also revealed that Newman had joined the Dark Forces group as a secret weapon, and Vought would unite with her. Newman was caught off guard by her allies' sudden move.
Great show, guys.
I worked my whole life to keep that secret.
We are gonna change the world. Listen to me. The first super-abled president.
Stating that even if she won the election, she would be impeached in 4 years. Homelander ordered Ashley to compile a list of anyone in the company holding leverage against him or the Seven, and hand them over. After Newman's mutant identity was exposed, protests erupted nationwide. Believed anyone could attack Singer now. He contacted Huey to prepare Newman's blackmail material to prevent further escalation, but Huey found his laptop empty of the data. Had Frenchie stay to continue extracting the virus and send coordinates to Huey and Starlight for a rendezvous.
All we got now is defense.
Ashley handed over the list of Vought employees who knew about the Seven secrets to Homelander. She was then kicked out of the meeting room.
Robert Singer will be dead by end of business. Newman will be sworn in. People will panic, be rioting, bloodshed, etc., etc. Someone will have to swoop in and restore order.
Homelander planned to rally every Vought hero to surround the Capitol, White House, and Pentagon, defending President Newman's legitimate election. Suddenly, Firecracker coughed due to side effects of lactation drugs, spraying droplets on Homelander, who felt disgusted and ordered her to sit farther away. This made Firecracker feel his merciless nature again. Homelander took out Ashley's list, ordering those present to kill everyone on it by today. Deep added Ashley's name to the list.
Hey, if we're thinking about who's got the most dirt on us, wouldn't Ashley's name be at the top of the list?
Unaware she had been eavesdropping outside, terrified, she rushed to Homelander's room and injected Compound V into herself, the only way she thought to save her life. Huey and Starlight arrived at the coordinates sent. Finding an enclosed bunker, Newman's competitor Singer was heavily protected inside, with no one else allowed in to prevent the shapeshifter's assassination attempt. But didn't know the shapeshifter had already entered disguised as Starlight, who suffered from claustrophobia, feeling hot and sweating in confined spaces. This reminded Huey of the shapeshifter they found before. Huey discreetly informed them about the fake Starlight. Starlight soon sensed their odd behavior and punched them both away. The bodyguards were quickly killed by Starlight, leaving only Kimiko in her way. Unexpectedly, the fake Starlight's combat power was overwhelming, and Kimiko was no match, having her neck snapped. As she chased after Huey and others protecting Singer, the real Starlight arrived to save them. Starlight exploded with power, delivering a series of punches that knocked the fake Starlight to the ground.
I don't know if I'm a hero, but I do know that I'm the beating your ass.
News of the failed assassination quickly reached Newman and Homelander. Newman thought they needed Sister Sage, who might find a way to clean up Homelander's mess.
We have not failed. I will end Singer myself if I have to.
Homelander demanded Newman obey him once she became president.
If you stray even an inch off that path, I will make sure Zoe knows nothing but pain for the rest of her life, and I will send you a piece of her every year for the rest of your...
Back in the lab, Frenchie successfully extracted the virus. Huey faced the challenge of explaining his mistake to the real Starlight. Even though the imposter looked like her, Starlight couldn't accept it, leading to another fallout with Huey. Suddenly, Huey received a call from Newman, who had been threatened by Homelander using her daughter. Newman, finally realizing she didn't want to be Homelander's puppet, sought to collaborate with the boys to stop him. She offered to resign from the election if the CIA would let her and Zoe go. M was skeptical of Newman's sudden defection, but Huey convinced him. To be safe, Frenchie loaded the extracted virus into carbon supermaterial darts. If Newman showed any abnormality, they'd use the virus on her. Meanwhile, all knowledgeable Vought employees were mercilessly killed. But Deep, after speaking,
Tell me I'm the smartest superhero in the Seven.
You are, by far, the smartest superhero in the Seven.
had his head smashed by Black Noir, failing to find Ashley. Elsewhere, Ryan, estranged from Homelander, found Billy, who advised him not to return to Vought and to leave with Madeline immediately.
When your mum died, which weren't your fault, she had me promise to keep you safe, and that's all I'm trying to do here. Now, if you're telling me, I mean seriously telling me, that the place you feel safest is with Homelander.
Ryan hesitated. Ryan didn't respond but wanted to play a game with Billy. At that moment, news of the failed presidential assassination arrived. Madeline urged Billy to hand over the virus, saying they were out of time. She informed Ryan that the assassination order came from his biological father. Everyone on the crashed flight was killed by Homelander.
Your father isn't who you think he is, and he wasn't having an affair with your mom.
Grace!
He raped her!
Realizing he was a product of force, Ryan couldn't accept it. He couldn't accept the CIA grooming him to fight his father. Ryan tried to leave but was stopped by Madeline. Ryan then noticed the hospital room's 2-meter-thick walls. Realizing it was a superhuman containment cell, Madeline explained she didn't want it to come to this. But Ryan became agitated, believing they brought him to trap him. He didn't want to be anyone's puppet. Madeline tried to press a button, but Ryan threw her against the wall, breaking her neck. Ryan glanced at Billy and left the room. Billy stood over his friend's body. Realizing the situation was beyond repair, he turned to Dean and finally nodded in agreement to let him take over his body. Newman, with her daughter, sought the boys to make a deal. The CIA would help them escape Homelander's control, and she'd resign quietly, offering future help against Homelander. Billy suddenly appeared, rejecting the deal. Huey tried to persuade him to trust them once, but the Billy before him was no longer the one he knew. Billy's chest sprouted tentacles, binding Newman's eyes to prevent her from using her powers. Zoe tried to help but was knocked away by the tentacles. Newman's bodyguard's bullets were useless against Billy. His tentacles pointed at Starlight and Kimiko, warning them not to move. The team could only watch as Newman was torn in half. Billy approached Frenchie, demanding the virus. Frenchie, intimidated, handed it over. The team knew they were in trouble after seeing Newman's fate. News of Newman's assassination quickly hit the headlines. With the puppet president plan failing and his son Ryan missing, Homelander was distressed when Sister Sage visited. Sister Sage had anticipated all of Homelander's reactions. She viewed Newman as a stubborn pity and chose another method.
Killed Newman
going like I ordered. We wouldn't be stuck 4 stories underground playing.
Newly elected President Singer was arrested for allegedly murdering Newman. Sister Sage handed Homelander a phone, saying the next presidential candidate wanted to pledge allegiance to him. Homelander couldn't believe the reversal. He had broken his agreement with Sister Sage, treating her like trash, puzzled by her kindness. After calming down, Homelander picked up the phone.
Homelander speaking.
The new president's first official act was to declare martial law nationwide, appointing Homelander as the national superhuman commander.
Victoria Newman. She's a great American and a dear, dear friend. Murdered in cold blood by deep state starlighters embedded in our own government. Now that we have full legal authority, a veritable army of superheroes will be called upon to rout these traitors from our government and from our streets. America will be safe again. And to the Starlighters, whatever rock you're hiding under, we're coming for you. A new age of superheroes begins.
The boys scattered, fleeing, but as Homelander said, they were hunted down by the superhuman army. M was subdued in an airport bathroom. Kimiko and Frenchie were captured. Seeing Huey taken away, Starlight tactically retreated. But with the virus capable of killing all superhumans, can Billy achieve his goal? We'll find out next season. In the post-credit scene, Homelander visited Soldier Boy's special cell at the CIA. Seeing his father again, Homelander was overwhelmed, hinting at Soldier Boy's return next season.